Hello, friend. Welcome to Yoga for Life. I'm Kerry. I'm glad you're here. Another sweet yin practice for you. As you might know, one of my favorite practices. Deep into our foundations, deep into anchoring us into the wisdom of listening and being with ourselves, resting deep inside. So, grab something to practice on, maybe a mat or blanket, 2 blocks. Definitely a blanket for over you at the end. Put on something comfortable, easy to move on, where you're warm, and join me on the mat. So we're going to start our practice in crescent moon, also known as Bananasana. I prefer the name crescent moon because that's what the shape reminds me of. Either way, I'm going to start on our back, curving the body to the left, starting off with. So we're going to walk the legs over to the left. I like to cross my left ankle over the right. It helps to anchor the leg, but if that doesn't feel appropriate, that's fine. Don't do that. And then I walk my torso over to the left as well, bringing up the right arm. And once I do that, and sometimes I anchor that with my left hand around the wrist, notice this incredible, beautiful opening to the whole right side of the body. Then I often turn the head towards the left, feeling into the shape of this pose. Again, in our yin poses, we hold them for a period of time. This one will be about 3 minutes. We come into the depth of the pose that feels appropriate for our body and for this moment in time. And then we hold the pose in stillness. And let the mind turn inward, let the breath become even and steady. Listening and feeling with so much love and compassion into what we're noticing inside. Gradually softening the muscles. So once we get into our pose and we're settled, exhale. Begin to soften the muscles. Because in a yin practice, what we're really dealing with is the joint structure. And within that, the connective tissue, the fascia tissue, the deep intelligence of that, and resting within the connective tissue are the meridians. So giving them space, opening up places of flow from the inside out. Never pushing. But allowing. You might notice where is the target area for you in this pose. I'm noticing it right deep inside of that right hip, side body, up through the waist, into the rib cage. There's even a little bit more space on that right rib cage too. Maybe give the lungs a little more room, deepen the breath. Softening the shoulder blades. Relaxing the inside of the mouth. And we'll give that 2 more breaths. Good, then release the arm. And gradually bring the upper body, the head, the arm all the way back to center. And then if the legs were crossed, gently uncross them and bring legs wide and open into rest pose. Arms out by your sides. Feel the 2 sides of the body. Take a moment. Again, you'll hear me talk a lot about listening, staying curious. What do you notice from side to side? So, always working with balance, curving, keeping the hips on the floor, curving the legs towards the right, and I'm going to cross my right ankle over my left to just anchor the leg so that I can just let it go because it's already anchored by another part of my body. And then walking the upper back towards the right, bringing up that left arm. As I do that, I notice this whole yummy spaciousness through the left side of my body. And then I might turn my head towards the right and then anchor that left arm, just gently holding onto it, letting it rest into the right hand. Coming into a quiet stillness. Softening the muscles, especially the space around the back of the heart and the shoulder blades. Resting deep in your own breath, in your own inner awareness. Keeping the mind tethered by being curious about what you're noticing inside. How is this pose landing? You might ask yourself, where else can I soften? I notice for me, a place that I will constantly revisit is the space between my shoulder blades and the back of my heart, as well as my knees, my thighs, and my bottoms of my feet and my toes. Never realized that I held much tension in my feet and my toes until I started doing this practice. Yeah, but one more minute. Give this 2 more breaths. You release your hands, bring your arm back, your head, upper body, then uncross your legs. Walk the legs back to neutral, into our rest pose. Let the legs be spacious, the arms be spacious. Relax the inside of the mouth. Allowing for integration here. Feel the 2 sides of your body, sides of your hips. Always within our practice, balance. Trying to work with a balanced practice, a balanced life, a balanced breath. Balanced mind and heart. Good. And from here into half happy baby. I'm going to start with my right knee, bending it up towards my torso, rib cage, and I'm going to bring it to the outside. Knee deeply bent, and then the bottom of my foot facing up towards the ceiling. So again, you're always going to find the depth of the pose that works for you. I like to actually bring my arm on the inside and then wrap it around and hold the bottom of the foot. For some of you, it might be perfect to wrap the forearms around the back of the knee and let your foot rest up. You might hold on to your ankle, let the shoulders and elbows get heavy, or the foot, whatever works for you. The other option in terms of modification might be if the leg doesn't feel good, that left leg doesn't feel good outstretched, you can softly bend. And that might make the pose feel like you have a little bit more access. So play with any of those modifications. And then once you find your way in, again, coming to stillness. Got about another 2 minutes here. Following the rhythm of your breath. Check in with the muscles and where is the target area that you're noticing. I'm noticing it right through the back of the thigh into the base of the hip, around into the lower back for me. For you, it might be something else. So again, stay curious, stay present in this moment with every breath, with what you're noticing. What's the information that you're receiving from that listening? Softening the muscles of the thighs. Allowing the connective tissue to gently open at its own pace. It's very, very different than the way we engage muscles. The connective tissue, like long, deep, gentle stresses into the joints. We're going to give that 2 more breaths. And then release your hold. Bring the leg down, out along the floor. Feel the two sides of your body. Feel the two sides of the hips, especially that right hip, the right leg. As oxygenated blood flows kind of like a sponge into that right hip socket. It's like so yummy. It's just receiving. All right, let's do, again, balance. Let's do the left side. Bend the left knee, bring it up, a little out to the side from the rib cage. Bottoms of your foot up towards the ceiling. As you come into this side, feel how you want to hold this position, either the back of the thigh, the ankle, or the bottom of the foot. Letting the shoulders get heavy. The hands, again, you're releasing into gravity, not with effort, but with almost like you're peeling back layers and offering permission for a deeper access into maybe a part of your structure, deep into the joints that might be talking to you, might not feel entirely comfortable. Yin is a practice that isn't always comfortable. And part of the wisdom and my love of this practice is getting comfortable with discomfort and how that ripples out into my life. We don't always find ourselves in comfortable positions, places, or situations. And what are the boundaries? What is the breath in that discomfort? Can we stay present with that discomfort and be gentle in this moment in our bodies? Breathe into the thigh muscles, the buttocks, the glute muscles, toes, the bottoms of your feet. Check into places where the muscular engagement or tension might have creeped back in. I'm going to give this 2 more breaths. And release where you've been holding with your arms and hand. Bring the knee back over. Stretch the leg out along the floor. And now feel both sides of your body as oxygenated blood flows. Again, like that sponge receiving into the whole left side of your body. Notice that flow of energy. Good. And from here, last one down here on this part is reclining twist. So I'm going to keep my left leg out along the floor, bend the right knee, tuck under that left hip, just hook the foot around, that right foot around the left thigh, and slowly drop that right knee over to the left side, extend out the right hand to the right side, letting that that right knee just get heavy, turning my head towards the right. If you need to support that right knee, you could put a block underneath the knee, or your hand, you could just rest the knee on your hand. Be very attentive to the rotation through the spine and deep into the inside of the hip. Gently working with the vertebrae here. Gently squeezing through the kidneys and the adrenals. And then notice where you can soften, relaxing the muscles of that left thigh, the right thigh, the glutes. Letting that right shoulder get heavy. And we'll give this 2 more breaths. Bring your head back to neutral. Slowly help that right knee up. Bring your spine back to the center. Stretch out that right leg. Feeling the whole right side of your body. Receiving that deeper flow and awakening. And then let's do the opposite side. Bend that left knee, tuck under the right hip. You're going to bend the knee across the body, just a simple reclining twist. Open up that left arm, turn your head to the left, and begin to let the muscles release of that left thigh and let the bones and gravity begin to take the weight of your knee. Careful the lower back. Always keeping your body safe. Coming into the depth of this pose that feels appropriate and safe for you. Soften that left shoulder, the back of the heart. The muscles of the thighs relax, getting deeper access into that left hip. Letting the connective tissue find its own degree of openness. Gently stressing into the fascia, into the connective tissue. And give that 2 more breaths. And bring your head back to neutral. Arms in slowly, help the leg up. Bring the spine carefully. Again, it's always a rebound. Careful moving in and out of yin poses. There's deep opening and connection happening here. You want to be really mindful of that. Feel the 2 sides of your hips, feel your sit bones, feel like a sponge, again, that feeling oxygenated blood flow back into that left hip, lower back. Cultivating balance, center, inner alignment. Good. And then bend your knees. Roll to your side. Roll the spine up. Coming into square. This is a pose that I've had a knee injury and a little bit of lower back thing. So this is a pose that's been definitely a challenge for me that I've been working on for a while. And could also be called fire log pose in a yang practice. So I'm going to start with my right knee bent and the shin straight across. This is one where your support team might come in really handy. I'm going to take up that left leg, bend again at the knee, and as you can see, mine do not meet. And you're going to stack the legs, shins, one on top of the other. So if your knee or foot is not going to come anywhere near that right knee, you might take a folded blanket or a block and just bring the foot in front. You could also, if need be, put a little extra support underneath that left knee. So you can play with that to the depth that feels appropriate and safe for you. That is always a guiding principle. Gently stressing in deep inside the hip socket, into the knee, into the ankle. You're welcome to rest your hands on your knees. I sometimes actually bring my hand under and just support that thigh just on the inside of my forearm there. It just gives me just the degree and the ability to go a little deeper for my body. You can keep your spine upright. If this is easy for you and you want to come deeper, you're going to roll the head down and the spine is gently going to curve forward. Maybe bring your hands in front. And you might fold over to the degree till you meet that edge, you meet that place of resistance, or your body says that's enough. And you're going to hang out there. Soften the chin. Let the head get heavy if you come forward. Soften the tongue. Letting the mind and the body get quiet with wherever you've landed. Whatever feels the depth and safety for you. Gradually softening the muscles, inviting a deeper access into the pelvic floor, into the fascia. Long, deep holds. Got about another minute here. Stay curious. What are you noticing inside? Maybe even soften the corners of your lips, finding that inner smile. This is definitely one of those discomfort positions for me. I have to be really mindful. Give that one more breath. Good. Gently lean back a little bit. Pull up that left leg. Unfold the right. Lean back with your hands. Bounce the knees and just windshield wiper a little bit from side to side. Check in. Notice what you feel. All right. Opposite. Bending the left knee, bringing the shin straight across. Right knee bends, hold on to the right foot. You can either place the ankle, outside of the ankle on top of the knee, or just in front, or on the floor in front. Either one of those might be a variation that works for you. And take a moment to land. Feel into that safety place. Like what's even your edge here? And then ask, do I want to come forward? Do I want to roll my spine forward, soften, and work down the back of the spine a little bit? Listen and flow into the depth of this pose that feels safe and appropriate for you. If you notice that you're coming forward and you get into that place of contraction, I invite you to stop. Stop there. Maybe pull back a fraction. Don't plow through, but just pull back. Find that place of softness and breath and connection before you check in whether or not you want to go deeper. It's a process. And it's listening to the body's wisdom, or we can extrapolate that out into our lives of where we take a little bit more time to listen to the wisdom of the body in whatever situation we might find ourselves. Check in, bones, the belly, the heart, the breath. How does this feel? Notice where tension might have crept back in. Check in with your thigh muscles, feet, ankles and toes, shoulders, inside of the mouth. Give this 2 more breaths. And then pulling up on that top leg, bottom leg, stretch them both out. Lean back in your hands. Again, windshield wiper, back and forth. Check in with the knees, bounce them a little bit. Check in with the hips, ankles, bottoms of your feet. Coming into deer pose. Bend your knees. You're going to bend the right knee, heel comes in, left knee bends back, and the foot and the ankle is just resting back and the foot turned out or tucked under, depending on your bone structure. And you might notice that left hip kind of up a little bit. The idea is to begin to let that relax. We're rotating the whole thigh structure inward in a way that's a little bit different. Maybe stressing the knee a little bit. You could sit on a folded blanket. If this is easy, keep dropping that left hip and maybe bring the ankle a little more out from the hip on that left side. If it's in further, it might be a little bit easier, or depending on the knee. If it's out a little bit, that might give a little bit more stress into the joint for your physiology. I'll just be here for about 2 minutes. Keep dropping, and the target area here deep into that left hip. Soften the thighs, calf, ankle, bottom of your foot. Inviting that left sit bone to get heavy. Be received into gravity. Soften the shoulders. Coming to stillness for about 1 more minute. Keep checking in. Stay with the breath. Stay here. And give this 2 more breaths. And very carefully bring up that left leg. Gently straighten it out. It needs a little TLC. Get a little rub, a little pat, a little chi. Love into there. Opposite knee. Again, windshield wiper, side to side. Through the ankles. And let's go the other side. Take your time. Folded blanket underneath the hips might come in handy, or a little support underneath the knee. You can play with both of those places, giving yourself what you need. So you find that place where you're gently stressing the body, the joints, to a place that meets that edge, but always within the bounds of safety, staying safe. Feel into that right hip socket. Letting it get heavy. Letting the muscles begin to release. Soften your eyes. Turn the lens inward. Staying curious about what you notice, what you feel, what your target area is. I'm definitely noticing it on the inward rotation of this right hip, thigh area into the knee. Releasing, gradually releasing the weight of this right hip into gravity. Got about 1 more minute here. Soften the inside of the mouth. Notice the even and steady flow of your breath. Give this 1 more breath. Good. And then slowly helping. Both legs up and around. Love in on your hips and your knees a little bit. We're going to finish off in caterpillar. A rolled blanket underneath the knees to help remind you to keep the backs of the knees soft a little bit, as well as possibly another folded blanket underneath your hips. So just giving yourself a little support underneath the knees. Mostly it's a reminder to keep the knees soft. Walk your sit bones back a little bit. A block or some kind of support to come forward with might be really helpful for some of you. So you can play with that. Feel into what you need, what makes this a win pose for you. This is a forward fold, one of the primary yin poses. So come to the front edge of your sit bones, lengthen your spine, thighs and knees soft. As you exhale, you're going to slowly let the forehead come forward. You're going to round the spine, soften the chin. What's that little hollow in your collarbone? Let the shoulders get heavy. Again, staying with our yin principles. You're going to go into the pose to the depth that feels safe and appropriate for you. We're going to be here for a period of time. This one will be about 3 minutes. And then we rest in that stillness. If you want to support your head, you could bring a block and rest your head on that. Or it might feel really yummy just to open up the back of the neck and tuck the chin and soften the inside of your mouth. And as you turn your lens, the lens of your gaze inward, check in with your thighs, soften them, backs of your knees. You get opening happening down the back of the legs and then opening through the whole spinal structure. All the meridians that flow through the back body here. Getting a sweet engagement, space, nourishment. Releasing the notion of effort. Got about 30 more seconds here. And in this time, inviting the weight of your torso to be received by gravity, by a process of allowing. It's not making something happening. It's giving permission to allow something to happen. Resting in a quiet stillness, Give it 2 more breaths. And then as you inhale, slowly begin to roll the spine up, stacking one vertebrae on top of the other. Very carefully, slowly, and then rolling all the way back down. Into pentacle, into final relaxation. Open the legs, make them spacious. Let the arms rest out at your sides, soften the back of the heart. If you want a blanket over you, or a double folded blanket over the belly and torso area, you are welcome. You invite in your own deep rest. Feel the weight and spaciousness of your back body. Your body receiving like a sponge, your bones, your joints receiving oxygenated blood flowing deep into the connective tissue, the ligaments, the fascia. Softening from the bottoms of your feet, up through the legs, hips. Feel the weight and softness of your torso. Relax the tops of your shoulders. Out through your fingers. Soft weight of your head. You don't need to hold it up right now. Let it go. Inhale. And exhale. Slowly stretching. Bend your knees. Roll to your side. Gently roll the spine up. Work your way back up to seated. Find your sit bones. Lengthen your spine. Resting. A little more openness. body, mind, and spirit, breath. Thanks for joining me. I hope it serves. Namaste.